What excites you about what your role could be in that kind of an offense?
Probably run into six-man boxes, and not just knowing every week there's going to be 8, 9 guys in the box on every single play. I think just playing in an offense that is more spread out, more of a threat to throw the ball deep more consistently, and I think it just automatically is going to loosen up the defenses. And obviously we've seen it this year. We've got guys on the outside that can make a ton of plays. And I think that's gonna just help me in every way possible. Just give me more space to run, more room, put less hits on me. And I think me and Ches can be dynamic in that offense.
What convinced you to decide to come back here and not pursue another school in the end?
I mean, it was really just conversations with Coach Fickell, and at the end of the day, this Wisconsin is always a place that I wanted to be. It was a pretty easy decision at the end of the day. I mean, as soon as I was comfortable with what Coach Fickell was telling me about, and I mean, my mom always told me, the older you get, the better, unless you're a banana. So, but at the end of the day, it's easy. Coach Fickell's a guy I love to play for. I'm excited to play for, and I'm excited about the future of this team.
Did you have to be sold in any way, or was there something you needed to hear before you needed to come back, or what was kind of the conversation like?
Not really. It was just more of trusting, getting to know Coach Fickell, and learning about his vision for myself and the future of the program. I wouldn't say that was like a main selling point. It was just me getting comfortable with everything that he was trying to do, and it was pretty easy once I learned about it.
And you guys are obviously going to have a new quarterback on Tuesday. What have you just seen from Miles and Chase and their ability to maybe step up and lead this offense?
Yeah, I mean, Chase, obviously, one of the veterans, older guy who's been around, knows the offense, has had some playing time. Obviously, he's the backup, so I think it'll be a pretty smooth transition for him to just step up and, play tomorrow, play well tomorrow. And Miles, just a lot of maturity, and since day one, he's been willing to learn, doing everything that he can to be ready to play. I thought that he did a great job throughout bowl prep. I think if he were to be the quarterback, he would be ready for it. But I think both of them, give us a great chance to win.
Coach Fickell's talked about trying to build relationships with you guys in a very short amount of time. I know you mentioned you guys going to a wrestling match or whatever, but what has he tried to do with you individually to try and develop a relationship in such a short time, knowing how important that relationship will be for the next year?
Yeah, pretty much what you said. I mean, we kind of connected with our wrestling background, and definitely trying to get to a match in the near future. So that's one thing that we had in common right off the bat. And relationships pretty much just come from getting to know each other, just having a conversation. Obviously doing things like going to a wrestling meet, but like I said, just kind of conversations. When he first got there, still to this day, I'll be in his office, or even if we're eating, just talking, getting to know each other like that.
There's some young guys in bowl prep that you've liked on offense or defense that could be a big part of this team next year.
Who are some
Young guys? Yeah.
I think offensively, Chris Brooks is one. Vinny, you saw flashes of him throughout the year. JT Seagreaves, I think he could be a playmaker. He's incredibly fast. For some reason, I don't know how or why, but incredibly fast. Defensively, honestly, it's hard to, off the top of my head, just because I'm not over there. But those are 3 guys offensively. Miles too. 4 guys offensively that come up to the top of my head.
Last month you talked about, you were pretty honest with us about you were disappointed with kind of how your season had gone. Why do you feel that way? Or like when you look at this season, what makes you think you maybe didn't do what you wanted to do, if that makes sense?
I think, it just kind of has to do with expectations that, I have for myself. Obviously there's a lot of outside expectations, but nobody's, has higher expectations for me than me. So for me not to be able to reach, the goals that I had set out to accomplish is obviously disappointing, but you know, when you look back on the season, watch the film, all that, you kind of just, you know, look. You got to look at it as, you know, did you do everything that you could do? I felt that I did that. So, you know, obviously the statistics and whatever aren't where, you know, I've hoped, but at the end of the day, that's not really what matters. I mean, we went 6-6. That's the biggest disappointment of the year. So, you know, obviously, like I said, the stats maybe not there, but at the end of the day, I felt, you know, I did everything I could do up to, you know, when I couldn't play anymore.
What goals did you set for yourself, like all conference or?
Not really, just more, you know, you kind of want to reach, you know, this yard more, this touchdown, milestone, whatever. But, you know, not really a specific number, just, you know, you know what the guys before you have done. So it's, you know, just kind of common nature to try to match that.
I know your goal for next year is if things go well, you would declare for the draft, obviously. What do you feel like you need to work on to get there? Obviously, you have one more game this season. And since we're not going to have a chance to talk to you until the spring, what do you feel like you need to work on to put yourself in that kind of a position for next year?
Everything. This is bottom line. Everything's got to be elite to be in the spot that I want to be in. So right now, you know, it's probably, I wouldn't say every category of my game is in the elite, you know, is elite. So trying to just, you know, get to that level.
What's a positive that you do take from this season? Obviously, you said it was disappointing, but what's a positive that you would take from this season going on to next?
I think, you know, just it was a growing experience, a learning experience. I think, you know, I had to mature a lot. There was a lot of things going on throughout the year that were kind of weighing on me. So just kind of learning how to push that to the side and, you know, keep focused on the main thing was a huge takeaway from this year. And, you know, I think that another positive is just, you know, the future, how the future of the program looks. I think, you know, Coach Fickell's going to do a great job. I know he's going to do a great job, and, you know, that's why I'm excited to play for him. So there's a lot of positives. And at the end of the day, they outweigh the negatives. You know, we're here at a bowl game. We're in warm weather. We could be, you know, 5-7 back in freezing cold Wisconsin. So we're just happy to be here.
What's it like as a player? I mean, dealing with 3 coaches throughout a season. I mean, that must be tough. I mean, introducing yourself to one, knowing one, obviously the defensive coordinator, and now having Luke Fickell.
Yeah. You know, not necessarily tough. You know, to be around, you know, to have 3 different coaches, but more so just, you know, seeing a guy like Coach Chris have to go, just, you know, someone that recruited me hard and I built a great relationship with, and then obviously the same thing with Coach Leonard, because, you know, he was a big recruiter for me coming out of high school, and then you know, obviously, like you said, Coach Fickell, but I think the toughest part about that is just, you know, seeing Coach Chris and Coach Leonard have to go.
Braelon, how much can what you accomplish individually and your team accomplishes tomorrow night change your perception of this season? Can you still do that?
Absolutely, I think so. You know, a win tomorrow is definitely huge. Obviously, you know, the goal is always to win. And, you know, from what we've seen, we know that we're going to be able to run the ball. So a big game on the ground for me and Ches will go a long way, you know, just to finish out strong and, you know, have the game that we want to.
For those on the outside, this could look like just another bowl game. How much motivation is there for you guys to win the game tomorrow, and just what are some of the factors that play into the motivation?
I think, you know, the motivation is always high to win. That's just the main goal of even playing the game, and it's something that, you know, Coach Fickell has talked a lot about. You know, the main objective while we're out here is to win the game. So, you know, the motivation's always there, but I think it's just more exciting. You know, just kind of we have like more of a excitement about it, just, you know, because we know it's a new era, and there's an opportunity to do something special starting tomorrow.
It's going to look a little different when Coach Fickell takes over next season and going to be in the full head coach role. Yeah. Well, he is now, but, you know, what have you learned so far from the time you've spent with him the past 2 or 3 weeks?
About just
the way he is as a coach.
Yeah, you know, I think everything he says is, you know, is powerful. You know, has a meaning to it that kind of, you know, hits home for a lot of guys. Just a down to earth guy, and very approachable. You know, obviously he's a great coach. We know that. You know, he's been to the playoffs. He's had winning programs. So yeah, I would say just down to earth, good guy, and knows what he's doing.
And I know you and Isaac are pretty close. I'm curious what he told you about what went into his decision to kind of move on and look into another.
We didn't talk about it too much. I mean, it's kind of something personal, and he felt that it was best for him to leave, and don't blame him. He's got to do what's best for him. So best of luck to IG. Obviously, like you said, very close. Wish he was here with us, but I'm excited for what his future holds.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.